Oh, this is so I don't normally do these with someone else in the room.
I'm not listening to you if that helps.
No, I know, neither are the people watching. Hey Pokemon Masters, Toby here. So I released a video yesterday just sort of expressing my excitement, but also my concern for Pokemon Legends Arceus. I am very excited for these games, but yes, I am also concerned, and I'm trying to temper those expectations, as I know most of us should. If you go in with high expectations, there's a good chance you'll get disappointed. If you go in with low expectations, or no expectations at all, there's a good chance you'll be pleasantly surprised. This is true of most things in life. And this game is in a tricky spot because a lot of people's expectations of these games, and I want to be clear that this isn't mine, but this did come up in the comments, and this is something that I've spoken about with friends personally, is that these games will be Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's a big expectation. Breath of the Wild was in development for like 7 years, and for those of you who don't play a Zelda game or don't play Breath of the Wild, you should. It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's a complete masterpiece, and you know, the world largely agrees. The gaming industry largely agrees, with many other games out there taking inspiration from Breath of the Wild. We see it in obviously Genshin Impact. Halo Infinite is one recently, and I think Halo Infinite is a really interesting example. If you've never played a Halo game before, they're just first-person space shooters, is the very dumbed down way of saying it. It's a franchise I really love, and it's clear to see the inspiration that Breath of the Wild has had on the setting, on the world, this big open expanse of green with lots of mystical ancient technology in there, interesting enemies scattered across the world to fight, and interesting things to find to make you want to go explore. I think there's a lot to be said for it, but at the end of the day, Halo Infinite is not a Zelda game, it's a Halo game, and it still feels like Halo. I think that is the expectation that we should try to focus on having for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Not that it will literally be Breath of the Wild, and you don't need it to be Breath of the Wild. If you want to play Breath of the Wild, play Breath of the Wild. It's absolutely brilliant, and there's a sequel coming out soon, so I'm obviously really excited for that. But with Legends Arceus, it should still feel fundamentally like Pokemon, and it's clear from what we've read about it and what they've put out about it that there are elements of the game that are a lot more like other franchises, like for example Monster Hunter. We already know it's not going to be one big open world, but it's going to be a number of open world style sections, kind of like a bunch of wild areas. But I do think a level of comparison is fair. And here's my argument. The wild area. In Sword and Shield, they called the big open world segment, the first time that there was such a thing really in a Pokemon game, they called it the wild area after Breath of the Wild had come out. Do you think that was a coincidence? What about the name Pokemon Legends Arceus? Legend of Zelda. Is that a coincidence? Gliders and braviaries, horses and weird ears, the trailer depicting the hero on the mountaintop looking out into a great green expanse. Are these things coincidences? No, in my mind, there's not a single world where that is the case. Pokemon is the biggest grossing media franchise. It's very good at marketing things. It knows exactly what it's trying to do. And what is it trying to do? Well, it's trying to say to people who own a Nintendo Switch, who enjoyed Breath of the Wild, which is a lot of people because it's one of the best-selling games ever of all time, hey, if you play Breath of the Wild, you might enjoy this game, our game. They're inviting those players, and thus a little bit of that comparison in. Now, when it comes to the actual core gameplay, it's still got to be Pokemon at the end of the day, and I think that's clear from the trailers. But we can't expect it to be shrines and towers and Korok seeds everywhere, but I do think we can expect a level of exploration, and yeah, maybe some hidden collectibles in the world, reasons to go exploring the world. I think exploration is at the heart of that trailer, wanting to discover the world of Hisui and catch all of the Pokemon. Like, I think that is something that's a kind of a core element, and it's just about Pokemon Legends Arceus taking the elements from Breath of the Wild, Monster Hunter, and of course past Pokemon games that work, and feeding them into creating this brand new experience. Here's another example. I want to put it like this, and I'm kind of scared to put it like this because it makes me think that there won't be any more Legends games after this, but hear out this example. If Pokemon Go didn't exist or wasn't as successful and such a big cultural moment that it was, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee probably wouldn't have been created. Maybe there would have been Kanto remakes, but they wouldn't necessarily have been where you don't battle the wild Pokemon, you only catch them using Pokeball mechanics and Raspberries the same way that you do in Pokemon Go. They certainly wouldn't have been called Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They were designed to net in a specific audience. Similarly, I think Legends Arceus is doing something similar for Breath of the Wild fans, because there are so many of them and they make up for a big user base of the Nintendo Switch. Biggest selling games on the Switch, you know, Pokemon games are up there, Breath of the Wild is up there, so create a Pokemon Breath of the Wild themed game. That's just good market sense. To be honest, it just shouldn't have surprised any of us when that first trailer came out. We also see this in Pokemon Sword and Shield with the Max Raid Lairs and Max Raid Dens. Why are they called Raid Lairs and Raid Dens? Because Raid became part of the, I guess, dialogue of Pokemon fans with Pokemon Go. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make here. It's the zeitgeist. It's what people are thinking about. What's the mood at the current time? This isn't to say that Pokemon invented raids or that Zelda Breath of the Wild created fantasy experiences. Heck, Skyrim's been out for a decade and re-released here, there, and everywhere. It's just what's on the mind of people. I think Nintendo and Pokemon know specifically as well their relationship to Zelda and Mario as a kind of sibling game, as the other part of the big trio, and they're trying to capitalize on it, which is just something that makes sense. And I'm okay with this because I'm a fan of all of these things. I think that if Breath of the Wild hadn't happened, if that game didn't exist, then we wouldn't be getting Legends Arceus right now. Or maybe we would be getting some kind of Sinnoh game, or past Sinnoh game. Maybe we would be getting a more conventional Sinnoh remake, for example, a bit more like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Breath of the Wild has clearly had an impact on the development and creation of Legends Arceus. I think a lot of the theming and a lot of the imagery, and I think even the name to a degree, have been inspired by Breath of the Wild, and thus I think a level of comparison is okay. I think a level of hope that side quests would be cool. Of course they would be cool to see. Like, who wouldn't think that? Hidden collectibles in the world and tiny puzzles, that would be kind of fun to do. It would be nice to see that. Do I need swordplay in Pokemon Legends Arceus? No, I absolutely don't need swordplay in Legends Arceus. I don't want heart containers, and I don't need stamina bars. I don't need the game to be as big. This game should not be Breath of the Wild, and you should temper your expectations if you think that it will be. But I do look forward to seeing whatever elements from that game, as well as the elements that work from Monster Hunter and past Pokemon games, they inject into this. Also, at this point, because this is my second recording, I'm not quite sure how far in we are, but I know we're a ways in, and so if you are watching this, thank you. Hi, secret audience. You are very much appreciated. Without you, I wouldn't be able to make these videos, so thank you very much. I wanted to say, let's give a shout out to Beat'em-Ups, who recently did a video on 10 games that have been hugely inspired by Breath of the Wild, and you can feel Breath of the Wild's impact on the gaming space. I think it's really, really interesting, because like I said with Halo Infinite, it's still a Halo game, it's just got elements of Breath of the Wild in there, and that's really what I'm hoping Legends Arceus is, a Pokemon game with elements of the Legend of Zelda in there. I love The Legend of Zelda. Many of you know that before I did Birdkeeper Toby and was a PokeTuber, I actually made Zelda videos on a channel called The Wind Waker 94, a long, long time before this. I'm actually planning on doing more Zelda videos in the future. I've even got a little Cuckoo Keeper Toby sprite that I'm ready to start showing off, and I'm looking forward to that. That'll be after Legends Arceus is out. I'll take my break, and then I'll come back with a little bit of a rebrand. Anyway, I think that's it, so I can give Phoebe some peace of mind, and she can get back to playing Halo without me talking in the background. And with that all being said, thank you all for watching, and of course, so hi, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
Wow, a huge thank you to those of you who are supporting this channel, especially those of you on Patreon, and the big patrons of this month, JD Gottlich, PokeBliss, Michael Hornschuch, and Jedruben. Thank you.